won the championship. Ferguson, can you blame the man for going out of his line temporarily?
Oh, it's not long now until the beautiful old lady will be bouncing and rocking once again. Oh, come on. The season is so close, we can just about touch it. Let's remind ourselves where we start. Of course, it is the group stage of the Premier Sports Cup. We start away at Queen of the South. Then we go to East Kilbride. And then we've got some home games to look forward to against Adrionians and then against Dumbarton. So 2 away games to start. Don't forget the fixtures came out as well today for the Scottish Premiership. Lots to think about there as well. We start away against St Johnstone on a Monday night of all nights to start. We don't actually play Celtic or Rangers until October, so we've got a really decent run of fixtures coming up before we have to face either of those two in October. How are you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV. This is the main stand. This is our weekly magazine show here on the channel where we just simply catch up with all things Aberdeen, all the stuff that's happened this week. It's been a really busy week, so I'm really looking forward to your contribution tonight. Get in touch. Tell me what you're thinking. There's obviously been a lot of good news. There was obviously some bad news, some annoying news, which no doubt we shall discuss on the show tonight. So, if you're watching for the very first time, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. If you want to get involved, all you have to do is under the main video on the channel, just leave your comments. Feel free to interact with each other, but as we always see here on the channel, don't use bad language and always be very respectful of your fellow fans. We do not accept any nonsense on the channel. Now, a little bit later, former Aberdeen goalkeeper Joe Lewis will be here. He did his quick fire question and answer session with me. When did we do it? We did it yesterday afternoon. So I'm really looking forward to bringing that to you a little bit later. We'll catch up with what Jimmy Tillene had to say in his press conference. We'll catch up what Alan Burrows had to say as well. But obviously there's been a few bits and pieces happen this week. So let's kick off the show with the headlines. On Wednesday, the club welcomed vastly experienced coach Colin Bell as the new head coach of Aberdeen Women. Colin spent his educational years in Germany and won the UEFA Women's Champions League with FFC Frankfurt back in 2015. And it was announced at the beginning of the week that the club has a new head of goalkeeping. 52-year-old Craig Hinchliffe comes with an abundance of experience and he will be reunited with Dimitar Mitov, who he coached at St Johnstone. So obviously both Colin and Craig are most welcome to the football club. It's interesting on the women's side of things that there's been significant change. Obviously Clint Lancaster, last year's manager, has left. And today, our player of the year, Bailey Hutchinson, signed for Hearts, which is obviously a significant loss to the women's team as well. So lots of movements going on in both the men and the women's side of the football club. What did you think of the fixtures? Again, just drop us a note. Let me know. Are you happy with the start? Personally, I wouldn't have liked to have played on a Monday night, but, you know, that's just how it goes. It's a live game as well. So, Jimmy, this morning, I don't know if any of you were there, but he was at the Chamber of Commerce Business Breakfast event. A couple of pals were there. Said he spoke very, very well, very articulate. And some of the stuff that he was saying about his philosophy, his football philosophy, really pricked a few ears. And I have to say, I am a big fan of football philosophy. And this is where, again, it just reinforces our need to be patient and to allow Jimmy and his coaches and the backroom staff to really implement the changes. And it got me thinking the other day, I don't know, obviously because I'm right here, Austria topped their group after beating the Netherlands 3-2. And after Ralf Rangnick left Manchester United, you know, everybody said that he was a failure, he did nothing at the football club, he was a laughing stock, all that kind of stuff, which to me was utter nonsense. Ralf Rangnick is very much the godfather of the Gegenpress, the Red Bull philosophy of how to play football. And you are seeing that with the way that Austria play. And we saw it very much in evidence against the Netherlands the other night, where they pressed high up the pitch and they got rewarded for that press. So the football philosophy was always there under Ralph Rangnick. And at Manchester United, he tried to implement that as well. But in my own personal humble opinion, he didn't have the players to be able to carry it off. So when he came in for that amount of stick, it gobsmacked me. And I'm now absolutely delighted for him that he's got his team into the knockout stages. And what a chance they've got to get to the quarterfinals when they face Turkey. So football philosophy is something which I think is vitally important. And Jimmy used an anecdote this morning when he said, you know, I'm the pilot of an aeroplane and my responsibility is to all the passengers. And all the passengers have to trust me to get to our destination. And I thought that was really interesting. So he's not just going to come with his own style of play, his tactics, the way he trains, the way he coaches. He comes with a philosophy. And I think the philosophy could hopefully get us to the level that we expect us to be at. So he got introduced to the press this week, and I've picked out a couple of quotes from him. So he said, we have to have respect for the challenges and adapt and learn things. We have to look, but also be strong with what we want to do. We are really confident with that. We want to build the project in 3 years, step by step. We try to improve things and try to be solid and have this hard working mentality. He went on to say, I want my teams to be strong when attacking. Try to create as many scoring chances as possible. Intense, clear direction against the goal. Hopefully we can get this in motion with the fans in the stand. We can do it together. So again, really interesting thoughts, I thought, from Jimmy Tillin. Watched his interview on Red TV. Again, like what everyone is saying, I thought he spoke really, really well. Obviously has an excellent command of the English language, considering it's not his mother tongue. And honestly, I can't wait to see what's going to happen to us. I'm really excited about the beginning of the season. But as I said, I do think we're going to need to have a little bit of patience just to make sure that, you know, we are fully behind him and he implements what he wants to do. After that press conference, Alan Burrows, the Chief Executive Officer, he also spoke to the press and again kind of reiterated about the time that Jimmy is going to need. This is what he said. We need to be prepared to be patient. This is a long-term project. This will mean this is a building process. It might take a period of time to get going. What I've told Aberdeen fans I've met is this isn't going to be something short-term. Clearly, we want to see progress, but this needs to be an appointment we get behind because Jimmy has demonstrated this at his previous clubs. Given time and support, he can really drive success. So obviously, you know, the football club have really done their due diligence on him. Again, it was interesting to see and hear that they wanted to get him in a little bit earlier. But now that he's here, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Right, what I'm doing now is I've just got to get in Joe. Just drag that into the timeline and we'll get that ready for you. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll open it up to you guys. Just let me get my bins so that I can see what's going on. Right. Okay. Oh, we have lots of you on tonight. Right, let me pause the video so I don't get confused. Right, Luminous Reality came on. How you doing? He says, Fit Like Ali, good to see you back. If my maths is correct, I'm counting 5 strikers at the club. Giai, Sokla, Miovski, Duke and Ambrose. Think something has to give. Well, obviously there's been a lot of talk this week about Bojan Miovski being quite a prominent missing person from the football club. But obviously that was all put to bed when he announced his engagement in Portugal. And that's the reason why he wasn't with the boys right on day one. So he's going to join them for the camp in Portugal. What I would say about that is communication is absolute key between a football club and the fans. Now, I think the football club made a wee mistake, and I mean this respectfully. So when they put out that video of all the players returning for pre-season training and Bojan was obviously missing, it set tongues wagging. Obviously it did. It was the first thing I noticed. I thought, where's Bojan? What the club should have done, in my humble opinion, is they should have just had a wee tagline at the bottom to say, you would have probably noticed that Bojan is missing. That's because he's just announced his engagement in Portugal and he's having an extended holiday. Ends the rumours, ends the gossip, ends the nonsense straight away. It nips everything in the bud. Just a wee thought. Baz Strachan is on. Hi, Baz. Can add Babbage to that as well since he's back from his loan. Yeah, good point. Oh, I can't wait to see what he's going to be all about this year as well. Huge improvement on him last year, Alfie. Baz goes on to say, great to see the fixtures coming out today as that gives us the excitement that the season is nearly here. Can't wait for the season to start. Will be fun as always, I'm sure. Come on, you Reds. Graham Barron is on. Hi, Graham. How are you, pal? He says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Hope everyone is well. Glad we are back to Don's affairs after that dismal Euros campaign. Don't even get me started. Thank God we've still got Austria to cheer for. Loved Jimmy's interview on Red TV. Really looking forward to next season. Now, Graham's the first one to comment about Conor Barron, who went to them over other clubs abroad who were after him. He says it's an absolute embarrassment to our namesake. Okay, so I'm going to have my piece on this as well. So, first and foremost, I was hugely disappointed that he left. I was more disappointed who he chose to go to. Personally, I think he was badly advised. I understand the financial implications. I get it. He would have got a fairly decent signing on fee and he will obviously make a fairly decent living. I get that. I understand that. But is Conor good enough to be able to cement his position in that Rangers team? Because what I personally think is that if he's not careful, he's going to fade away like others who have recently joined that football club. So I think he was badly advised. Personally, I think he should have gone abroad. He should have tested himself abroad. There would have been plenty of time to come back to whoever he wanted to come back to in Scotland. But at the moment, it's just a humble opinion. Again, it's just a personal opinion. And obviously, many of you may disagree with it. But I think he was badly advised. Okay, Gordon Keith Ritchie has said, evening all, pre-season started and the fixtures out. Roll on the start. Come on, you Reds. And hopefully a few more players coming in. So, getting back to the strikers, because Alan Burr has obviously said in his interview, most importantly, no official bid for Miovski, no official bid for Duke. As it stands. Simon Roy is here. Hi, Simon. Good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. How are we all tonight? Looking forward to getting started and seeing how Yimmy goes. Luminous Reality came back and said, Dimitar Mitov, Spick Doric was absolute class. I was beneath the table. The Lunas fitting in nice. I have to say, I tip my hat to the football club about that because it was absolutely hilarious. That was a really good watch, really good fun. Should be doing more. Angela Hamilton is here. Hi, Angela. Hope everyone is well. Just came on to say hi. About to get dinner. Enjoy your dinner. Scott W. I'm doing just fine. Thank you, Scott. David Gold, Rally Vids, had said, first league game away to St Johnstone on a Monday night. I know. Benzo Watson has said, Footlight folks, what's everyone's thoughts on a Monday night in Perth for the opener? And then I think I saw, am I correct in saying Boxing Day? Kilmarnock. Boxing Day. In Kilmarnock. Really? Is there any thought put into it? Any? Come on. It's not rocket science, lads. Angela Hamilton makes a good point about the decent start to the fixtures. She says it gives us time to warm up before we face the Old Firm. There is no Old Firm, Angela. Barry Cooler said, good evening, folks. Can't wait to get the season started. Drying out after a week in Germany. Oh, I bet you are, Barry. Hope you had an absolutely brilliant time, fella. A Scottish Man Cave said, hope the club can get a decent fee for Barron. Can't believe he went to them. Neil709 has said, hi, dandies, and hello, Ali. Hello back, fella. Gordon Keith Ritchie has said, Conor Barron showing no ambition going to Sevco. I agree. Scotty Blodgett, how you doing? He says, howdy all, looking forward to the new season. Cannot wait to see how Yimmy's new philosophy gets on. Stand free. Scott W says, I like what Talene has to say. He really sounds like he knows what he's wanting and not wanting, and I think he'll do a great job, but patience is key. David Gold Rally Vids came back to say, pleased with the goalkeeper coach appointment? I am. Very much so. I spoke to Jackie McNamara about him because Jackie had him at Dundee United. Spoke very, very highly of him. Barry Cole came back to say, will the SPFL fine Rangers for not having a fit and proper stadium? They have pulled Dundee over the coals due to last season. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting what happens there. Honestly, what a state of affairs. Can't make it up. Kenneth McPherson is here. Hi Kenneth, how are you? He's wishing everybody a good evening. Scottish Man Cave said, after watching some highlights, Ambrose looks like a handful and very pacey. So I have to agree. So I watched that, and I got to be honest, and I'm not just putting a down on this. You know, these videos are very cleverly edited together to make the guy look like Maradona. So, as I said, I'm not trying to put a dampener on it. He does look great, I have to say, in the video. He looks strong, looks pacey, definitely got something about him. And honestly, I can't wait to see what this guy's going to be like. I think he could be a fabulous signing for us. Sorry, I'm just going through it. Graham Klein is saying that Christian Lovric, the Croatian left wing back, has been linked with us. Yeah, I saw that as well today. Simon Roy is asking, what is everyone thinking about Duke wanting to leave? Personally, not really bothered. If he wants to go, let him go. And again, let me come back to that, because folk might clamber that if he leaves, then we're kind of be light in that department. I don't think we will. Let's not forget that Vinny came back. Now, I know Vinny obviously had a very difficult time. He quite obviously didn't get on with some of the managers. It's common knowledge now that he had a bit of an attitude in the dressing room and in training. But he's gone away on loan, and it looks like he's knuckled down, he's got his head down, and he was reaping those rewards when he was in Holland. And what I'm really hoping is that he brings back whatever he took from his experience in Holland, and he brings it back to us. And I really hope we see the Vinny that we saw in the first 6 months that he was with us, because there's most definitely a player there. Barry Cole says about Duke, if he doesn't want to be here, let him go for the best money. I agree. Bob Duffer says Monodons. Sorry, just let me go through this. Laura 101 says, hi Ali, have you seen the fixtures video the club released today? It's the funniest thing the club has done in ages. Well worth watching. I haven't, mate, so I'll check in with that a little bit later. A lot of you are talking about, Scott McKenna possibly coming back. Personally, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Welcome him back with open arms. A lot of you are talking about Conor Barron. The rumours that he got offered 5 different contracts from the football club. He turned them all down. Phil McLean says, hi Ali, I missed you. Hi Phil, missed you too, fella. You old charmer. Neil Strachan says, felt like Ali, I'm really excited about this season. Bring it on, Mon the Dandies. Musical Box, just reiterating what I said, hoping Yumi T gives Vinny Bissau a chance. Neil McDonald said, good evening Dandies, hope you're all well. Similar start to the season as previous, depends on how the team settle into Yumi's style. Alexander Jameson is on. He says, good evening from Calgary in Canada. Did we have a loan player who have gone back to the parent clubs? Yeah, a number of them have gone back. So Stefan Garteman's gone back. Who else was on loan? Who's gone back? Oh, dearie me, I can't remember. Stanley Roddy's asking, what's the latest on Junior Hoylett? So the last thing I read, so he was contracted, I think, until the end of July. I'm sure I read somewhere he's contracted to the end of July, and the club have offered him a new deal. So let's see how that one pans out. Barry Cole saying that Hoylett got injured while on duty with Canada. Right, we've got plenty more to get through, so we'll get to it. Okay, let's get Joe Lewis on. So, if you've seen these videos before, this is where basically I've got it's just, all it is a bit of fun. It's not supposed to be serious, nothing like that. It's just supposed to be a bit of fun. So it's quick fire questions. And I've said to the lads, you can answer them as you see fit. You can give me one word answers, or you can put a little bit of context behind your answer. So jumped on with Joe Lewis yesterday and we had a really good laugh, and I really hope you enjoy Joe Lewis's quick fire and question feature. Hi Joe, it's lovely to see you again. Thank you so much for coming on. I really hope you're ready for your quick fire question and answer session. So we'll fire straight in. First question. When you first moved to Aberdeen, where did you stay?
First 2 nights, they put me up in the Highland Hotel, right? So, which is apparently is lovely, or was. I don't know if it's even still going now. Was a bit. I must have had the worst room of a lot. And I remember like a few weeks down the line, or a few months down the line, it might have even been a year. I was asking a couple of the new lads, got chatting to one of the new lads. Oh, where they put you up? Everyone was saying, oh, Malmaison, Chester, and I was like, what happened? Were they not? They obviously weren't expecting much from me when I signed. I was signed as a bit part player, maybe, or a fringe player. And so I went and spoke to Stephen Gunner about it. I said, Gunner, what was that all about, mate? Chucking me in the box room in the Highland, and all these boys have got the Malmaison and the Chester. But no, yeah, that's where I stayed. And then I stayed in the Spire apartments on North D side for a little while as well, until I moved into a house in towards Colts.
Okay. Who did you first click with when you joined?
Jaden Stockley, I would say. He was new as well, very chatty. We knew a few of the same people as well. And he was such a laugh. We'd got the same sense of humor, really, like the same sort of stuff. And yeah, I just had a really good laugh with him. And because we were both new, it was sort of, I knew a few of the same people. It was great. It helped settle in. His partner had moved up. Obviously, my partner moved up, so they got along together. So yeah, Jaden Stockley was a brilliant company.
Who did you sit beside in the dressing room?
So I was number one, Shay Logan number two.
Okay.
So I was trapped between a wall and Shay Logan. So I found myself talking to the wall quite a lot. No, Shay's brilliant. Obviously, anyone who's met Shay knows he's brilliant company. He's a lovely lad. His social media doesn't always do him justice. He's a good lad. No, he's top man, and still speak to Shay now. Obviously, I'm living down near towards Manchester now, and he's down here quite a lot. So meet up with him every now and then, and speak to him regularly on the phone. So no, he was a top lad as well. Really used to help the new lads settle in. So yeah, got a lot of time for Shay.
Who was the loudest in the dressing room?
Do you know what? Jaden again.
Oh,
He
really?
was like not straight away, but pretty soon he just got an absolute foghorn of a voice. Like and he's not afraid to just to say what he thinks. He had a couple of moments. I think him and Doc once had a bit of an argument on the pitch, and it was hilarious. Just the way Jaden was really funny. The way he used to say things, and he was just so loud. His voice is really loud. Kenny McLean as well. He was quite loud, quite chirpy. But yeah, there was some really good characters in that room.
Who was the quietest in the dressing room?
I'll go for Peter Pawlett.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't. I wouldn't say he's necessarily that quiet. It's hard to remember the quiet ones, isn't it? But I suppose the ones you got to watch. No, Pete was great, really nice lad, but just really quiet and polite and a really nice lad. I wouldn't say no one was like really quiet. No one was like the silent assassin Jack McKenzie. No one quite that bad when I first got there, but no, he was yeah, he was just kept himself to himself and really sort of quietly spoken, but a lovely lad as well.
Who had control of the music in the dressing room?
I'm pretty sure it must have been. I don't actually know. I can't answer that. Can't give a name, but it was definitely a Glaswegian because it was like that awful, like happy hardcore, like
Oh,
dance music. stuff.
Really?
Just so like horrible Glasgow crap. So it was without offending too many people there, but it was awful, yeah. So um, I suppose you end up warming to it a little because they had a certain couple of songs, I don't know what they're called, that they'd stick on it when we won games. So you got like a affinity to a little bit of, I suppose, to a song when you keep hearing it once you've won. But yeah, it was awful.
Did you have any superstitions or a routine that you stuck to regularly?
No, not personally. No, I didn't have any on my own. We used to have like a Friday training session that we do cover certain things, like with Gordon Marshall, um, and no, nothing more than what the club would put in place, really, than the coaches. Personally, I'm not one for that, really. Um, I've always thought if I have a superstition, I've got trapped in one of them superstitions that I would be midway through the first half and I think, oh, sugar, I didn't do that. I didn't put my right glove on first and whatever it was. Um, and it would play with my mind. So I've always tried to stop myself getting into any habits like that and just be a little bit more fluid. A lot of people are really regimented with what they do.
Mm.
It works for them. So it's like whatever works for you. But for me, I never had anything like that.
If there was one game that you could choose that always kind of sticks in your mind from the time at Aberdeen, what game would it be?
I always would say the game at Murrayfield against Hearts.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, from my own performance, I had, probably one of, if not the best game of my career in that. But with it being at Murrayfield, there wasn't many opportunities. You don't get many opportunities to play there. It's a massive place to play, and although the fans were so far behind the goal, I think we took 7,000
Yeah.
to that game. Like an away game, taking 7,000 there was brilliant. The noise was, you could still hear the noise, even though they were behind the goal a fair bit. And yeah, I was able to make plenty of saves, and it was finished 0-0. So it was nice to have a game where you make loads of saves and it contributes to a team getting something out of it.
Do you have an all-time favourite save?
Yeah, it's not from that game. It's probably and again, it was helped that it was on Sky Sports. So we played Celtic at home. Scott Sinclair's cut in from the left
What a save.
and whipped it to the top corner. And I've gone top hand, full length. It just as I've gone for it, he always seemed to do that. He never really would smash it near post. He would always try and whip it far post. So it was one of them, and all your best saves, the goalkeepers would say, all your best saves, that you've gambled a little bit. So I've gone slightly early, still didn't really think I was going to get anywhere near it. And just managed to hang in the air for a split second longer than I thought I would, and get my top hand on it. And the fact that it was on Sky and it had 4 or 5 different camera angles just made it better. So it was super slow mo from behind the goal and that sort of thing. So yeah, I've rewatched that one on YouTube a few times.
It's a sensational save, dearie me. Right. Um, who are you taking on in an argument without fear of retribution? Tony Docherty or Derek McInnes?
Oh, I'm taking on Doc all day. Oh, no, nothing against Doc, and I'm sure Doc's different now because he's a gaffer now and he's in charge. But when like Derek had that about him where, yeah, you would take it to a certain point and then you would leave it and it would get nipped in the bud and you wouldn't take it past that. Doc, as it was almost like, I mean, I wouldn't say that Derek was a particularly bad cop, but it was a bit of a good cop, bad cop, and that's always assistant managers are never the hard taskmasters. They're always the ones that are going around trying to keep people bubbling in. But yeah, it was always Derek. You wouldn't take it past a certain point. But I'm sure Doc's got that at Dundee now, and I'm glad to see him doing well actually.
Yeah, yeah,
On a personal note.
yeah, he's doing brilliantly. Did you have a favourite pair of football boots?
Um, no, free
Oh,
ones, whichever was free.
those are the best boots.
Yeah, they're the best ones. Whichever ones they send me, and yeah, you have to pay for them. So I'm not one for that. I Nike, Adidas. I don't know. As they all have names after that. Hyper, whatever. I don't even know the names. They were comfy, they fit, and they were free. And that was my criteria for boots.
The three most important ingredients. Eh? As a captain, were you a shouter or a calming influence?
Um, Probably out of the two, I'd say a calming influence. There was moments when you had to try and get the boys going and shout. That's not really, fully my nature, I wouldn't say. I always think my biggest asset as a keeper was to be a calming influence and try and, sometimes when the game's hectic or things aren't going well and you've had to make a save and not to be getting up and start shouting and screaming at people. It worked again. Like you watch Pickford, he does it all the time. It worked for him. Me personally, I always think that the defenders would like to look behind them and see someone who's in control and calm in a situation because the game can be frantic enough, and at half time it can be frantic enough with people wanting to, when things aren't going well and people trying to sort things out, and you got a bit of time and emotions and that sort of thing. I always think you need someone, and not always. Sometimes you need someone screaming in your face, but I always thought it was more beneficial to be calm if possible.
If you could turn back the clock and change one result from your time at Aberdeen, which result would you like to change?
Um, it's got to be the cup final with you know what I'm going to say. I just hate talking about it, to be honest. When Johnny's running down the ring and squares it to Kenny, and yeah, it's depressing talking about it, to be honest. It's just that's the one moment you think this is it. We'd had so many disappointing results against Celtic. They were such a good team under Brendan Rodgers at the time. They were so strong. And you just thought that was the moment, and it wasn't to be. But yeah, I saw someone, it was an Aberdeen fan, put it on, or maybe it was a comment on a Twitter or X post. Every time I see it, I just think, just don't remind me of it. But that would be the one if that could have gone in, and we could have won that game, then that would have been lovely to have won a cup with Aberdeen, which is they so much like deserve, I think, at the moment with all the supporters do, especially with the amount of difficult seasons they've had in the last 2 or 3 seasons. So yeah, it would have been nice to have got something there, but obviously that'd be the one I'd change.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Right, last question, and probably the most important one you'll face. So, Bad Boys Inc. or Take That?
Well, it's the easiest question. It has to be Bad Boys Inc.
Yes, my
There's,
man.
there's that many good songs, I can't even name one. It would be wrong to name one, wouldn't it? Really? So I'm not going to name one.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Mate, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thanks for coming on.
Not man.
All right, Joe. If you're enjoying tonight's show and you haven't yet subscribed, I'd be very grateful if you wouldn't mind considering it, please. We are at a whopping 72% of folk who watch the show and don't subscribe. All you have to do is press the little red button. It won't cost you a bean. It's completely free. And we are, what are we now? We're over 3,600 subscribers and just want to keep that going. Just keep building the momentum, especially as we get into the new season. So Joe Lewis, in my estimation, was way up there. Now, he's like top of the tree. Joe Lewis chose Bad Boys Inc. over Take That. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, lads. Right. Let's get back to your comments because they're still coming in. Erica Mitchell is here. Hi, Erica. She says, evening, everybody. I'm looking forward to the new season. Hope we're in for an exciting one with having Yumi Talin as our new manager. Barry Cool saying it's going to be very interesting to see how the friendlies get on. To be honest with you, I'm not overly bothered about friendlies. I don't pay too much attention to them, if I'm being honest. Because the team gets changed, it gets chopped and changed throughout the 90 minutes, and I personally don't think you can really take anything from friendlies. For me, it's all about just getting a bit of match fitness, gelling, new players, all that kind of stuff. I don't read too much into it. Erica Mitchell says, great Q&A with Joe Lewis. Delighted you enjoy it. Scott W said, Joe always comes across as a really nice lad. Honestly, he's a top bloke. He really is. Derek Griffith said, good evening, Ali. I've joined the show late, so I'll catch up with it now. Good man. David Gold, Rally Fed said, Joe is a great guy. He most certainly is. Musical Box said, talking about Jaden Richardson, who's obviously back from his loan spell. He said he's okay going forward. It was his lack of defensive qualities that worked against him. Yeah, Phillips. Phillips. What's his first name again? I can't even remember his first name. That's how insignificant he was, I thought. Scott W said, I hear that Big Joe is training at Manchester United. Is that right? So, Barry, thank you for answering that question. So he was at Manchester United. He's now basically a free agent. Musical Box says, I like Joe Lewis. He's a really good guy. Simon Roy said, I'm hoping Fletcher Boyd kicks on this season. I think Yimmy will give him a chance. Yeah, I agree with that. I also agree with that. Kelvin Phillips, that's right. Kelvin Phillips? No. Killian Phillips, that's the one. Right, guys. That is us done. Where are we? Yeah, we've done over 36 minutes. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed the show. Just a quick shout out to all the new members that have come on board as well. Thank you so much. The membership scheme is building really, really nicely. We've got over 70 paid up members now, which is absolutely fantastic. So again, perks of being a member is I'll come on, have a wee chat with you personally, just to chew the fat over everything Dawn's and the YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. And obviously you'll get exclusive first watches of all the videos that I make with the players and features and all that kind of stuff before we actually put them out in the show. So there's plenty of perks. So thank you to all of you who have recently signed up to the membership scheme. It's a huge help, and you will see the rewards of what you guys have been offering me financially very, very soon. We're just putting it all in place. These things, unfortunately, they take their time to get over the line, and I'm a wee bit frustrated by it all, but we're very, very close. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, because it just helps with the old YouTube algorithm as well. So we'll be back next week for another show, hoping to have a very special guest lined up. Just trying to get that over the line as well, where we'll do his quickfire question feature as well. So have a brilliant weekend. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you all again next week. Keep an eye on the socials, and I'll let you know what night we're going to do it. Stand free.